Matrixx and Rhodes show fans, we are back with another video. We're going to be talking about James Cameron and Terminator. Now, guys, 2019 is when Terminator Woke Fate came out, and allegedly James Cameron was involved with that, but we know he pretty much just had the naming rights, and he really did not do too much with that movie because he was actually off filming Avatar. Tim Miller was in charge of everything, and James Cameron was never on set one day. Now, he was a part of the editing process, if I'm not mistaken, and Terminator Woke Fate was a hot mess. That was the second time the Terminator franchise was actually rebooted, this time under James Cameron's name because the rights belong with him now. James Cameron now, this is kind of surprising, he's pretty much hinting that a new Terminator movie could be coming, and it's not an extension of Terminator Dark Fate, but this would actually end up being the third somewhat reboot of the Terminator franchise. Here we go. James Cameron discusses plans for next Terminator movie. Now, Tim Miller was on record after Woke Fate failed that he was done, he would not be back. And James Cameron really did not have a good working relationship with Tim Miller. I guess that's kind of hard, when you're not actually on set. But anyway, it says here the Terminator series is one of the most iconic action franchises of all time, but hasn't seen a new entry since 2019's Terminator Woke Fate. Recently, director James Cameron spoke about what he'd like to see in a new reboot. Now, would this actually be a reboot after T2? I'm pretty sure it would be after T2. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to retcon his first two movies. During an appearance on Wondery and Amazon's Smartless podcast via Bloody Disgusting, Cameron, who created the franchise and directed the original and its sequel, spoke about his future. Cameron mentioned that if a new Terminator movie was going to be made, he would like to focus more on the rise of Skynet rather than just the fact that Terminators are on the rampage. So this would definitely be a different version than T1, T2. It actually could focus a little bit more on what Terminator Salvation tried to do. But he said this, quote, "If I were to do another Terminator film and maybe try to launch that franchise again, which is in discussion, but nothing has been decided, I would make it much more about the AI side of it than bad robots going crazy," Cameron revealed. And also a little bit of a T3 in there also as well, because they touched on the AI Skynet was actually it was almost like a computer glitch or something like that. They couldn't figure out a virus. That's what they were actually saying in T3. So maybe that. The news that discussions to launch the franchise again are also of note. Previously, 2019's Terminator Woke Fate was rumored to be the beginning of a new trilogy of films in the franchise. However, the movie was a box office failure and critically panned, resulting in plans for future films being canceled. Now that's interesting because after T3, they made Terminator Salvation, which was actually supposed to be a trilogy, didn't go anywhere. Then you actually had Terminator Genesis. That didn't go anywhere. And then you had Terminator Woke Fate. That didn't go anywhere. So this is how this thing could actually work. For one thing, guys, James Cameron would have to be 100% involved in this. I know he wants to do Avatar, but Cameron would have to write this. He would have to direct it. He would need creative control. That's what makes James Cameron great. He cannot be a part-time filmmaker like he did with Woke Fate, because it would just turn into a disaster. James Cameron, even though he said some crazy stuff as of late, this man is an all-time great filmmaker. I mean, this man is on the Mozart level of filmmakers of all time. James Cameron has been that great. Now, I know some people like Avatar, some people don't, but this man has some of the biggest box office movies of all time. The first Avatar movie, almost $3 billion. Titanic, over 2 billion. This man can make movies, but he has to apply himself to it. Now, when he talks about the AI version of it, he can actually still bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger into that, because we can actually probably try to find out why the Terminators look like him. Why is the Arnold Schwarzenegger character an inspiration for the T-800? Could it be some type of a captured scientist that was forced to work for Skynet? Or, it could have been the military defense thing where Arnold Schwarzenegger is a scientist and he builds these T-800s in his own image. Could be something like that. He wants to take this in a somewhat different direction, but I still would like to see John Connor brought back to life. James Cameron, don't kill off the savior of humanity. Should not do that. I mean, it could kind of be like a Terminator Origins movie, I guess you can say. Instead of being, a direct sequel, it can kind of be like an offshoot of the Terminator movies. It could probably be something very, very different. I don't know how that would actually go, but that's what it kind of seems like he wants to do with this when he's talking about focusing more on the AI angle of it, But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Matrixx and Roadshow fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.